opportunity to gather here one more time. We ask your blessings upon this meeting. Each and every person, Father, that has made their way here today. We ask your blessings upon the city, and may we just lend ourselves to you, Lord, and be directed by you. For Christ's sake, we do pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So if you would roll call, please.
Mr. Ardoni?
Present.
Mr. Britt? Mr. Capriati? Mr. Capriati?
Mike.
Yes, I'm present.
Thank you.
Reverend King?
Here.
Mrs. Mock? Here.
Before we move forward with Mr. Capriati, note that the mayor is absent this evening, and Deputy Mayor Mr. Capriati was present via telephone and is asked and designated Mr. Arnone to run the meeting, given the fact he's present on the telephone. Mr. Capriati, is that accurate? Can we just confirm that so you can hear us?
I'm recuperating from the end. I'm able to be there in person, so it was my recommendation that we ask a member like Mr. Arnone to run the meeting, can't be there in person.
All right, thank you. That's how we'll proceed. There, Mr. Arnone.
The minutes. Order is present, please. The approval minutes cannot be done until the next month because they haven't been received by us as of yet. But we have the proclamations, awards, honors, resolutions. Okay, we're done tonight. Public comment. Agenda items only. Charlie, state your name, your address, please.
Arlene Stanton, 184 South Street, Johnstown. I'm speaking tonight on the resolution for the Commonwealth Financing Authority grant application for improvements at Roxbury Park. While it's good to see that interest in improving the park, I am 100% opposed to making any part of it into a cemetery. Is this what you will be doing with the grant money? Roxbury Park is located on 29.3 acres in the Roxbury neighborhood. It's used for tennis, baseball, softball, football, basketball, volleyball, racquetball, and hockey. It has pavilions and a walking path. It gets plenty of use and the grounds are beautifully maintained by Public Works. Why are you permitting burial plots at Roxbury Park? Burial plots and memorial plots are to be in cemeteries or on private land. Recently, I observed a 3-foot by 3-foot area, and I know it's how big it is because I measured it, area dug up over at Roxbury Park in the grass. It has border bricks and stones covering this plot and a tree planted in the middle of it, and a graveyard memory marker with the names of somebody's deceased dated 2022. While I don't know who these people are, this is not permitted per city ordinances. It is a public park in the city devoted to active and passive recreation, not mourning and grieving. It's not permitted per city ordinances. No person is permitted to dig into or otherwise destroy grass areas or in any way injure or impair the natural beauty or usefulness of any park. Having a cemetery plot at the park is not acceptable and it needs to be removed. Are there ashes or human remains buried there? Does anybody know? You've taken away public use of the land and you have made it private. There's many people who bring lawn chairs and sit at that very site to enjoy summer concerts or to just sit, relax, and enjoy the beauty of the park. Is Public Works now going to be tasked with cemetery plot maintenance? Sound decisions based on logic, rules, and laws must be applied here. Emotions must not be part of it. We all, at some point in life, mourn the loss of family and friends. But what if we all dug up Roxbury Park and created cemetery plots to remember our loved ones? The 29.3 acres of land for public use would be gone, and we could call it Roxbury Cemetery. If this plot is permitted to exist, we must be fair to all and allow everyone the opportunity to do the same. Please tell the public what the guidelines are, as we would like to take advantage of this too. Do we need an application for a burial plot at Roxbury Park? Can we bury our beloved pets there as well? I have a cat that died recently. I would like to bury over there. What is the cost to have a plot over Roxbury Park? Do we pay the city or do we dig up and install the plots ourselves? Also, what size plots are available to the people? And what areas are available for the dig up? Can we dig up center field or under the pitcher's mounds at the baseball court? What is going on? Does anybody have an answer to any of this? And I have pictures here I'd like to hand in along with just two of the city ordinances.
You have 1 minute, ma'am.
Is anybody on city council or the city manager willing to pick up pictures of the site, or you are all well aware of what it looks like? Does somebody want to come down and get the pictures? I'll leave out the remainder of my time for an answer.
This is just.
Your time is up, ma'am. Thank you.
Here, Ryan.
My name is Andrea Ryan. I live at 190 Derby Street in the city of Johnstown. And I'm going to be making some comments on the same concern of the oil that's there. Now, the state of Pennsylvania is silent, doesn't take an official stand one way or the other about these kinds of memorials posted along roadways where people have been killed in car accidents, and they pretty much leave it up to the Department of Transportation to determine whether the markers are appropriate or not appropriate, and the department just takes them down if they're too big or too flashy or distracting to drivers or and I think that they do this mostly because putting those things up is it's a sacred thing to do. It creates a small sacred space for the families, and it also is kind of a reminder to other drivers as they're driving along that this might be a dangerous location. Part of a highway that is probably not a good idea to go on. And with that in mind, since it's really a marker for someone who has died at a particular location, having this at Roxbury Park implies that someone has died on that back street in a road accident, or a tree fell on them, or something. And so it's a little misleading to people who walk back there as to what this marker is actually about, because I don't think that actually happened, but that's what these markers do. And that's what they do all over the country. All states have laws or are silent, like Pennsylvania about it. I'm from California. In California, they're everywhere because it's a very strong Latino tradition to do this, and Latinos tend to put these markers up where people die. So I think that because of the purpose and because of the meaning of this and because of the sacredness of a memorial for someone who is gone, who is being mourned, I'm not sure that Roxbury Park is an appropriate location. The location of it itself within the park also is kind of problematic because it's in an area where people sit, where dogs are. It's along the very back of the park. It's one of the few places where dogs can even go. Dogs on the walking path, and a lot of people walk completely around from Franklin Street. And I know that because I walk my dog there almost every day. So I'm not sure that this is an appropriate location for something like that. And maybe it can be relocated if you're going to put these kinds of memorials in the park. I also have kind of a problem with using the public space for a private, sacred space. People have their own properties where they can do this for their pets or for loved ones. I'm not sure why a public space is a good idea for this, and I would argue that it's really not. It's really not appropriate. So anyway, those are my concerns about having it there, and I'd like the city council to figure out a way to take a look at the current ordinances we have, which I think Charlene read one of them, or at least she did look it up, and it doesn't look as though it's in allowed Roxbury or on any of the city-owned properties. So I think city council should either adjust this or eliminate it. So that's that. Is there anything anybody wants to say? No. Okay,
Thank you. Michael Kay.
I may have incorrectly wrote my email speaker.
All right, thank you. Dorothy A. Clark.
My name is Dorothy Clark, and I live at 1058 Boyd Avenue. Good evening. My name is Dorothy Clark, and I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Council for allowing me to speak tonight, as well as the valiant efforts of the Johnstown Police Department and Fire Department. I live in the 8th Ward, and the level of residential noise pollution has definitely reached the qualification of disturbing of the peace. There is no peace in the 8th Ward. I work 6 days a week as a department head in the deli at Randy's Philo. With the help of Randy's Philo, I have been able to give back to the community by providing holiday meals for our first responders. I am currently in training to become a leader in a support group to help curb crime in the area by identifying the hurt, the hang-up, the hardship of the import resorts to violence. That all said and done, let's go to the issue at hand. The residents, my neighbors on Osborne Street, play their music absolutely too loud for a residential neighborhood. With doors and windows closed, the music permeates every recess of my house, as well as that.
I'm sorry. What you want to talk about is fine. You have to wait till the end of the meeting. It's not an agenda item. This time, only subjects that refer to the agenda.
Oh, I thought that's what that was. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You can be more than welcome to speak, but it's going to be the end of the meeting.
Okay, that's very good. I did know about it.
Thank you very much. No problem. You did fine. That's all the public comment we have. City manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. With this being our last council meeting in the summer, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the RAISE grant and some of the things that have happened this summer. I know those of us who are working every day on the RAISE grant know exactly what's going on. But a lot of times, members of the public don't have an opportunity to hear and know exactly what's going on. So I just want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about everything that's happened this summer, and also where things are headed with the RAISE grant and the Main Street project and Central Park project in particular. So going back to May, we had our first session, our first public session with our Main Street committee, and also with the consultants that we hired to do the design of this project, Scape Architecture. And so in May, we opened the doors at 416 Main Street for over 3 hours. We had two tables long drawing for Main Street, where residents and business owners, property owners, anybody who was interested could come in and provide comments about Main Street, talk about what they like to see, what they don't like about Main Street, ideas, thoughts. And at that time in May, we had over 100 people come through the doors and provide input and feedback, which is really exactly what we're looking for. We've always said that, we want this project to have a lot of community input. This is Johnstown's project, and we want it to reflect the values of Johnstown, the hopes of Johnstown, and what Johnstown wants this part of town to look like for the next 50 years. So we were really pleased, I think, with the turnout in May and the number of people who came and offered their ideas and suggestions at that time. So, so following those meetings, we had our design team from SCAPE go to the drawing board. They took pretty much the month of June to come up with the 3 design renderings, proposals that they put forth during some additional public meetings at Central Park Square last month. And so, the purpose of those 3 design renderings were, again, to go from 3 to 1, to eventually get to that final design of what Main Street and Central Park are going to look like, but to provide different options and ideas and thoughts based upon those ideas and thoughts that the community gave us back in May. And so just like May, we had a fantastic turnout. We had the public meetings on Central Park Square. We had a couple of tents set up, the drawings were set up, and our designers there, they could come and engage with the public, engage with residents, property owners, and talk about the project, hear about the project, hear about what matters to Johnstown and what Johnstown wants inside of this project. So, we had hundreds of people, again, turn out for that day and for the purpose of providing feedback on the 3 renderings that you see there. And so where we're going now, I think end of August, beginning of September, our design team will come back with a preliminary final design to share with the community. And once again, we'll open our doors to the public and ask for input on that design and what that what that looks like and what that final design is going to turn out to be, what it's going to look like. We do have the 3 renderings over there. It's not too late to share your input with us and with the design team. We also have all the renderings, meeting minutes, other drawings on our website. You see, we have the website for the Race Grant project that we've maintained since the start of the project. And so all of this information is contained there for anybody who didn't get a chance to attend one of the public meetings. And I also want to mention, not quite as much fun, but also going on at the same time has been the environmental and historic preservation clearances that are required to spend these federal dollars. The RAISE grant is money that comes from the Federal Department of Transportation, and as such, we have to comply with the NEPA and Section 106 requirements for this project. And so our consultants are about halfway through that process right now. We're working with Camtran and Jaha because those processes also apply to the train station, the incline plane, and the transit center. So that's moving forward as well, and hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have those clearances, and then we'll be able to formally spend the money. So,
I have a question. Are you done with the race? On to something else?
No, yeah, that was pretty much my update. I just wanted to kind of give an overview summary and just reiterate of everything that that's been going on with the RAISE grant over the summer. And we will publicize the next public meeting, and we'll have it in another, maybe we could have it again at Central Park or another accessible location downtown. So I think that's everything I have about RAISE.
Okay. If the park plans, if the design input goes for the 3rd one, or an elaborate version of it, we have a final note on it, because we have to basically look to see if that version is going to be sustainable with city crew. So, and like Mr. Demansky said, the more you spend on the park, the less you have for Main Street and all the other stuff. So, if we as council think that may be too extravagant, because this committee is basically picking what people say, not necessarily what people manage the city have control of. You know what I mean? They might say, oh, I'd like to see fountains and splash pads and all this elaborate stuff, the rocks and the fountains and everything. Is that really feasible for the city and for our crews, public works, to maintain it? So I think council really has to be cognizant of the fact of, yeah, this might be nice, what a group of people might think, but is it really
workable for the city. So do we have the final say, like, that's way out of bounds, we gotta curtail this?
Well, I think that's the staff is playing that role, along with our designers. And right now, the designers are taking all that input, they're digesting it, right? And you're gonna get comments that say, yeah, I'd like a 5-story water slide in Central Park, wouldn't that be cool? Well, obviously we can't afford something like that, that wouldn't be appropriate. So, really that's what is gonna be happening over the next month is, designers are gonna be digesting all of that input, and working with us, the input from all of you, to come up with a design that reflects something that, the community has said, this is what we want to see happen here. But also, working with Public Works, I would say, if you put in a fountain, what are the long-term costs of maintaining this? Or if we put in, certain types of vegetation, what are the how do we maintain this? Does somebody have the knowledge to, properly maintain these types of things? So certainly, maintenance is always on our mind, and that's something that, we will, that will definitely be a big part of this conversation, making sure that whatever is constructed, the city has the appropriate resources to be able to maintain that. Nobody wants to build, something that's going to fail in a year or 2 or 5 or 10. We want this to be long-lasting, durable, and something that is going to last.
Well, I just don't want, these guys, this is their job, they design and they build. And once it gets passed and the way it goes, they're gone. And we're left to deal with whatever fall out there needs or maintenance. But I really think council needs to probably be very conservative on what is being done, because we have the final vote, final say that this is what we're gonna do. Their ideas may be okay, but I really think we have to be careful, because I don't want something that's gonna be so outrageous that we're not gonna be able to manage down the road, because the staff is limited as it is. The city didn't shrink, we have more properties now we gotta deal with because there's vacant lots. These guys are going crazy trying to take care of everything. And if we don't have a dedicated person to just maintain Central Park or all the other parklets, it's just gonna fall apart. So I think we need to, jazz it up a little bit, but not be sold something very elaborate that we can't handle.
Yeah, and that's so 2 thoughts there. One, Public Works staff right now puts an incredible amount of maintenance into Central Park.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of it is remedial, right? It's cutting down tree branches that are dead, or cutting down trees that are dead. It's fixing the fountain. I'm shocked at the amount of time that our employees spend fixing the fountain, right? And that fountain's only, 20 years old, 25, right? So, my hope is that when we get to, constructed new Central Park and Main Street, whatever that looks like, that there's a efficiency there, time savings for our staff that aren't going to be there all the time fixing all the broken stuff we have now.
I'm just saying,
we've got to
be careful.
Well, and now too, part of this process where we go from trees is looking at price tags. These are the pretty pictures. What do we like to see? What's the vision, right? But then we have a budget too, and that was when I was there in May. We met with the designers, and they said put your sticky notes on, and everybody said, well, I want to see a fountain, or I want to see new trees, or I want to see this or that. My sticky note said budget, right? Because we're operating in a budget. And,
we have the rest of Main Street.
Right. Well, absolutely, yeah. Main Street and Central Park. So we have that budget that whatever the final product is has to be within that budget, both to construct it and then also long term.
The other thing with the Main Street project, I think I brought this up once before, that's what confirmation. The underground lighting, the whole way from one end to the other end. I know Penelite's working on stuff now, but I'm talking about the poles and the lights and everything. That's all going to be replaced, I hope.
That would be I don't know where all the underground lighting goes, so I don't want to say exactly what wouldn't be replaced. But yeah, the new lighting, the streetscape, a fresh look on that would involve new.
Because some of the lights are not working, and I don't know if it's due to be whatever.
Yeah, that's all part of the freshening.
I'm going to continue with you.
Yeah, I just
I'm
have,
sorry.
no, that's all good, and I'd be happy to, and this, again, we're in the day-to-day details of the road grant every day, and these are the things that talk about it. Yeah, I just had two other quick things that I wanted to mention. Alex and I had an opportunity to do two walking tours of neighborhood, what we did with a community group. We walked through Walnut Grove and Roxbury Park, and got to see those neighborhoods up close, and spent a couple hours there, talking to residents and up close. And our goal over time is to do a walking tour through every neighborhood. So we were able to get to those two last month. And then finally, I just want to note for council, our ASME union contract is up at the end of this year. And so I just want to let you know that I've been in touch with the ASME rep to begin the negotiations. We don't have a proposal just yet, but those negotiations are underway. That's all.
Is he solicited?
You have a front seat?
State officer from America is not here. The engineer's not here. Council updates, hello?
Very excited that we had a great AAA weekend. Very excited that we had great music fest. So, also looking forward to and go event together to see what's going on in the park this weekend. So Sunday, we have a chance to visit with folks and enjoy the park and.
Okay.
I just want to say that I continue to attend the news going on throughout our city, and myself and Mrs. And we will be having in September, by the end of September, we'll have another big meeting with all of you.
How did he go over at Johnstown? I'm sorry I had to work
It
that
was
night.
wonderful, good. It was great.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I was working.
Yeah, it was no, it was a small turnout, but it was really, really great. It's amazing to me that I think they're not organized, but they really are. They have good ideas, and they have passion. As long as you want it to work and you have the passion and the desire, it'll work. Everything else will fall into place. So, I mean, they have plans already of what they're going to do. They're going to try to have a light up night for the end of the year, which is something that Mrs. Mock and I are working on for each and every day. We're going to try to ensure that everybody has a light up night.
Thank you very much. Marie?
Nothing much other than our, the community gardens, coming along, it's a little slow this year. Begin to my partner people and find out what's going on. Yeah, it's coming along, it's just very, and, flower boxes, doing great.
Reviews.
Yeah, thank you, they get a lot of compliments on that.
Thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, thank you, enjoy.
Great.
Yes, Mayor, good evening. Two things.
Whoever.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Good evening. Anyway, I just want two things. And the Moxie, been over here with the reflex. Turn out very positive vibes going around, and there's a bunch of children out here playing, and there's Juan and Ryan, guys, going for the outdoor ski airs. Well, I can slow them out here, but the people are having a great time. And basketball stuff, and we need more of that. Good to see the activity down Johnstown here, going to way week. People downtown like the old Johnstown, people, get around here, there, and everywhere, you know what I mean? And most of all, last but not least, I want to give a shout out to the True League champions, Johnstown champions. Every time we've done that, we wouldn't be able to do what I was playing here, talking about the first round, but it's good to see competitive in that sport. Shout out to the players and the coaches and the families of the coach. Steve Johnson himself. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I forgot one thing. that on Tuesday, August 15th at 3 o'clock, this is for the residents of Prospect. The County Planning Commission is having a meeting with the, residents of Prospect at 3 o'clock in the Community Foundation, Community Foundation site, to discuss the William Penn Avenue corridor.
2 o'clock.
Oh,
3 o'clock.
I thought you
2 o'clock.
set up the hospital, but it's actually.
2 o'clock.
Community Foundation.
As your representative on the Housing Authority, as in the past few months, I provided an update on the statistical information relating to the population of our public housing communities located within the city of Johnstown. As of July 31st, 2023, the total population of our Johnstown public housing communities is 2,320. Our Section 8 voucher holders in the city of Johnstown total 1,151. This amounts to a total combination of 3,471. We are currently assisting 46% of the people living in poverty in the city of Johnstown. Prospect location has affected these population statistics in that we don't have them still. We're expecting to notify Prospect residents soon, but the definitive plans repairs to most likely the option at this time. We haven't got received a word from that yet. JHA has planned continuing with other work that is already in progress. Prospect, before the Prospect location. Last month, contracts were signed for boiler system replacement at Lofty Plaza, that's the one we need for. And later this week, we will have bids open for roof repair and annual reporting. Also, an annual public housing plan for 2024 is available for public viewing on the website in person for JHA. As to the housing, water representative.
It all today, Chuck.
Yeah. They have maintained over 1,161 feet of 61,000 feet of pipelines. They have distributed, reclamated the problems at Riverside Park, and it's running at 6 million gallons per day, which is efficient, and they have taken care of a tremendous amount of leaks and defects within the system. They have, I do not have a report on the tap-ins for this month. It didn't make it to me this month. So that's where that stands for today. Petitions, ordinance, and final read and adoption are none. Ordinance for first read, resolution. The City of Johnstown has applied for PA Department of Community Economic Development Municipal Assistance Program MAP for $1,500 grant funding to be applied for development of a new city comprehensive plan for applications requiring a match of which the city has set aside $50,000 in its previous allocation from HUD funding. The city comprehensive plan dates to 1998 and it is severely outdated. Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code, the guiding law for comprehensive plans for Pennsylvania, recommends a comprehensive plan be updated every 10 years. Resolution of City of Johnstown, Cary County, Pennsylvania, authorizing, directing the city manager and his or her designees to take any and all actions necessary to submit a grant application in the amount of $150,000 to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development through the Municipal Assistance Program. Motion?
Motion.
Second? I'll make the second. Roll call? Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Capriati?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Monk?
Yes.
Yes.
A resolution of the City of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, authorizing the city manager to execute and take in all actions necessary to effectively application for funding assistance from the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Financial Authorities in the amount of $84,488 to the Greenways Trails and Recreation Program to be used towards improvements within the Roxbury Park location in the City of Johnstown. Motion? The city is applying for the Pennsylvania Commonwealth for grant funds to repair the Roxbury Park, including servicing the tennis courts. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Does this include the basketball court as well? or no?
Yes, yeah, this would be the resurfacing of the tennis courts, the area where they currently have pickleball courts and the basketball courts.
Should it say that, or does it not?
Because from the resolution standpoint for the state, it doesn't matter. It's just that the approval of the submission of the application.
This will take care of all of that.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Capriani?
Yes.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock? Yes. Mr. Shebel?
Yes.
Mr. Mooney?
Yes.
Sorry, I should have actually, I listed some things. Where do you think this work might begin?
Best case scenario, we would hear of a grant award this fall. So after that, it's really the project setup time, whether we beat winter or wait till spring. It probably most likely wait till spring. A lot of these contractors, they get projects in advance, as far as, getting these scheduled. So we're already on tentative hold for some contractors out there, even though we're ultimately have to release a bid if we work.
Thank you.
Earlier this year, the city conducted required public meetings to solicit input on the use of American Rescue Plans for see-through pilot home program. Feedback received a session develop a non-congregate shelter. It should be noted that the use of this allocation of the American Rescue Plan funding through the home program is much more restricted than the other rescue plan funding received by the city and is primarily intended for housing projects. The city subsequently released the request to propose for the development of a non-congregated shelter and received 2 proposals. Only one proposal met the use of funding for the intended program. The proposal was from Victim Services, which proposes to construct a non-congregated shelter at 307 Vine Street. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, authorizing the city manager to execute any and all actions necessary to effectively agreement with Victim Services incorporated the amount of $749,683 to the City Home and American Rescue Program Plan for the development of non-congregated shelter within the City of Johnstown. I move to table that.
Second.
Need a roll call? Okay.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Capriani?
Motion.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Brett?
Yes.
Okay. Minor subdivision of property of 1135 and 1118 Solomon Street. The property owner at 1118 Solomon Street, O'Shea County, proposes to convert 2 existing lots across the street. The lot merger will also transfer 1,800 square feet of land from 1135 Solomon Street into a new parcel. The City Planning Commission reviewed the proposal subdivision and the regular scheduled July meeting and comprehensive plan. Cambria County Planning Commission also reviewed the plan and recommended its approval. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Johnstown, Cambria County, Pennsylvania, approve a minor subdivision lot merger, 2 parcels of Solomon Street in the City of Johnstown. Make a motion, yes.
Motion.
What are they?
It's a parking lot.
Okay.
It's across the street from their employees. I looked at it today.
Yeah, I mean, I know where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if they were trying to put something on.
No, it's a place for their employees to park because they make the camping.
Yeah.
They only had like 4 parking places. And there was a vacant lot. Well, you remember years ago, there was a row house that put up,
Yeah.
there was a fire.
That's what he put the shit in.
Yeah. Second, we need a second.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Ms. Shebel?
Yes.
Mr. Arnone?
Yes.
Mr. Britt?
Yes.
Mr. Capriani?
Yes.
New business, planning commission vacancies. 3 vacancies currently exist in the city planning commission due to resignations of city staff. Recently published a call for volunteers on city social media. Tribute Democrat, the city website, in response, staff received 1 application for planning commission vacancies from Chad McLaren. The home rule charter requires planning commission members to be city residents. Mr. McLaren meets these requirements. The unexpected fire term runs through January 31st, 2027. Motion to accept Mr. Chad McLaren.
Yes, motion.
Second. Roll call.
Reverend King?
Yes.
Mrs. Mock?
Yes.
Ms. Shebel?
Yes.
Mr. Arnone?
Yes.
Mr. Britt? Mr. Capriani?
Yes.
Does anybody know who resigned?
3 people have resigned from planning commission. Chairman Kurt Davis resigned because he relocated. Mr. Capriotti resigned, and so did Stephen Biden. Got 3 vacancies, of which we just filled 1, so we're doing it.
The applications that are in the file, they go back, what, a year, maybe, something like that? Did anybody?
Contact them?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't have any, I think we went back a year and there weren't any applications. All of the applications were the applications. We only received the 1.
There's no business this time? Public Works report?
Actually, let's do Tony, John's on vacation. Tony's going to give a record.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? First, I want to, congratulate all of you for the AAA that our park is second to none with all the upgrades you made. Everything's working properly. The scoreboard, we have like a professional game environment now, capabilities with our scoreboard. The mill rats have not been able to fill those positions to run that properly, but we have a fully functional scoreboard where we can run a professional event there. The left field scoreboard's great. We're getting some prices on a new covering for that matches up the inning holes, but the sound is perfect. Daktronics informed me that we're one of the few stadiums in the country that has 3 press boxes. So they're working on a split, so we'll have the same state-of-the-art sound in all 3 of those, and they're almost finished there. But I think it was a great night for Johnstown to be on display, great lighting, great field play, and it's a tribute to you in the amount of time and money that you put into that park, and I think it's well worth it for our citizens. And I think there was 6,400 people there the first night, and then many more after that. It was a really nice night, so kudos to you on that.
Excuse me, while you're on that subject, there are 2 portable pitcher's mounds on either side of the field.
Yes.
And notice when we were over there doing the colors for the mill rats, both of them need repaired. There's a big hole in both of them. I'm afraid the pitcher's going to slide into it and break his ankle. It's a piece of outdoor carpeting, but it's worn in the same place on both of them. And they slide their foot through, and these things are
okay, and I'm pretty sure we replace those season by season, but I'll reach out to Donnie tomorrow morning and make sure. And I wanted to, one last thing, I wanted to give kudos to Public Works for the job they did. Donnie and Linus and Jared and Joe did a great job all week, making sure that the stadium is ready. That our police officers were great. We worked hand in hand with them. Didn't have any incidents, but there were a few times where kids needed to be moved out the dugouts and safe places, and the officers did a great job. And then Hal Dew's crew, you can't thank them enough for the job that they do and how hard they work to keep the stadium running. So it was a real nice week for us to be on display and a nice summer. A lot of really good things happening there.
What was the feedback from the old time?
I think it was pretty good. We had a little problem the first night with the microphone, and I think that was just a direct result of the fact that we have a brand new sound system. And one of the things that we're working on is getting everybody up to speed with the fact, Jared had Donnie there all week. Donnie volunteered and streamed all the games on social media. He streamed that new system that we have, but there's a new sound system. And what happened during the day is some of the people from Martellus went in and tried to hook up music like they normally do, and weren't able to, and use our microphone for 9 innings in the afternoon. After we had checked it at 10 and checked it at 5, and we didn't know that. So when it was working at 5, and by the time we got out there, it's a little bit of a hang up. But those guys worked really hard. I mean, the streaming was great. Got a lot of compliments back on the social media and people being able to watch it online. That was really neat. It's led to some other opportunities. I'll talk a little later in detail if you want to about Bishop McCourt. They're going to use our board, and we're going back and forth on a comprehensive marketing plan. And now they've reached out and said, "Hey, we saw the games. Can we do our football games on there as well too?" So they're reaching back out to us as well too to even make that better. So that's all a result of that. But other than that, we didn't have a problem. There was nothing brought to mind about the week. It's nice I was there that it went pretty seamless.
Please pass along our thanks to all everybody that made it work.
Absolutely, I sure will. One of the things we're working on as a DCNR parks And that's those vacant parks that we have that needed some attention. We are in the planning stage and getting close to getting a bid on 3 of them. The Peeler Street Orchard, that we got great recommendation on that from Reverend King. We're working to get a plan there to turn that park into an orchard that's sustainable. And we're working with Mr. Clemenson on and Representative Rigby's office, because they had met about that previously. So we're working on getting a plan for there. Steel Street and Conemaugh Burr, we're looking at putting a passive park there, which will be some benches and just clear out that area. And yeah, I recommend to everybody, if you get a chance to go over there and kind of look up through the hillside and imagine what that park used to be. I don't know in 1969 what that looked like, but there is massive stone structures the whole way up there. I've seen that. Yeah, they said there's something called mountain climbers. We looked on the old plan, so look really neat. We're going to make it into a nice place for people to relax with some nice benches and stuff there. That bid will be in by the end of the week. And then we're working on New Street and Prospect on a basketball court. And we want to show the committee there from DCNR that we're making some progress. They're going to have a Zoom call with all of us sometime here before the end of August about some matching funds. Some of it which could be used on Main Street anytime there's a project running by a park. They're talking about some matching funds for us. So we're going to have a Zoom with them, and we wanted to show. We had a great meeting when they were in town and we hosted them, and they were really happy that, that we're taking this serious. And they said that our parks are on par or above with most of the places they visit. So it was really good, and we're going to have that there to find out about some more funds. And anytime we do a sewer project and there's a park, there's going to be availability for funds as well too, and we're going to learn a little more about that in our Zoom. Anybody have any questions on the parks?
Didn't have the floor board. Now that we have all that, are you ready to get these tournaments back?
Which tournaments in particular? Like the Division II one?
Yeah. What
Okay.
was that for you?
That was the one for the PSAC tournament that we had held before. Yeah, and that
They have to get back once you get rid of them?
it is, and that was the pitching mound issue. You know, now that we have this safeguard mound, it's something that we've talked to them about. We're getting more rentals than ever. I got 2 calls last week about fall rentals, and we start transitioning to football. So if you ever watch where the goalpost is, it's right in the third base line, and the coaches don't even care. They just want to be on the field. So we had 2 calls for rentals this week on that. I think the other issue now too is getting people comfortable with paying for the facility. We talked to both club baseball, and one accepted and one didn't. And even with additional money from Discover Downtown, they still weren't able to come here. So we'll continue to talk that. We want to get more action there. I think sometimes, you know, it looks like the stadium sits dormant a lot, but we do have a lot of things going on there. It's really busy throughout the summer. We're talking some different concert ideas. There's a proposal coming in this week for someone to bring in a concert that they proposed to us. A gentleman from Miami who has a friend here who made a formal, it's on Jared's desk right now, and it'll go to the city manager. We'll take a look at it. But it's a nice budget and a nice kind of like, they call it the sending act, the former star. But yeah, we want to keep aggressively doing that. And we're having conversations for anybody that will call. I know we rented out the stadium more this spring for baseball than we ever had in the last few years. And that mound is great, the play is great, and you know, with the weather, it's a great venue. But we have to get those tournaments back, and that's something I know we've had several discussions with them on bringing that back. And some of that PSAC tournament is logistics too, and not always having it in an area close to UPJ, I think at times.
Anybody looking at the increases on?
I haven't had any complaints at all. I mean, matter of fact, the new practice rates I passed out to those baseball coaches, they didn't even flinch. But yeah, we haven't heard any complaints. And I think we're right in line, and we made a lot of, Ethan had us make a lot of phone calls to places. You know, we're in line with Mansion Park and places like that, and you know, with our upgrades, I think it's more than feasible. And with our this scoreboard and the capability of the cameras, I think we can attract some more stuff. And I'm really pushing McCord hard to use a lot of that stuff so we can put it on display so people can see what we can do. And Mansion Park got all those playoff games because of their ability to run highlights on the board during games. So we want to be able to showcase that too. You know, we got our first baseball AAA championship. They loved coming down here. They left Curve Stadium to come here. So, and they're really happy with, Charles Gomrak from District 6 was really happy. All the feedback was great. They loved it and they'll be back. They want to come. So we're starting to attract some of those things, but there's never enough. With the kind of money you guys invested, we have to continue to keep reaching out. And we have those discussions, and again, just getting people to come in and be able to pay the amounts that we like to, that's more than reasonable, we're working with. And there's a little more negotiation when you have multiple things. But we'll continue to keep pushing that.
So if we're getting that settlement down.
I have not talked to them again since then. That this is the week because we're in the process of just. What's that? Did you? Yeah.
Okay.
And they're concerned with the play safety, the being safe or not. But we're just in the process of submitting those grants, so we have some little more concrete. We'll get back together with them. That price tag was pretty hefty when we originally had. So we're just working on that process. That's something. Is that something you reach back out to them again? Keep them updated on the process of the grant. What's that?
Yes.
Okay. No. Do you want us to let them know that we submitted the grants?
No, yeah, that would.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Okay.
I'm still. Okay. Association. They know that this grant's being. They're well aware of that.
Yes. And that's the risk you take with an outdoor venue. One of the nice things for us is I think, originally we had talked about, and we had met with the War Memorial, me and John had met with them about us providing the seed money for the concert. So basically we would be hosting it. And I think as I talked to Jared, for our first couple at least, we'd like to be the venue. So we would put the risk off of us. We would have a certain venue fee, talk to them about that, and the risk would be off of us. This one in particular that we're talking about is we will just be the renter of the facility. And we'll get a chance to run it and see all the logistics of it. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, 10,000 an accurate number for what we could have their max capacity?
Yeah.
So like that, they had looked at that. So it's a pretty big undertaking. We have the power there now to do it. That was a problem before. We've completed the punch list we needed to with the promoter. So this one here, I think that our goal was to have someone else be the, take it. And then at the end of the day, with ticket sales, you break even if you sell your tickets, and then your profits come from the beer and food sales, which are to be really big and have been. The War Memorial's done really well with that. So the concert life here has been really good. I've heard a lot of compliments from people about the entertainment, and I think this could be something really big as well too.
Sessions with still under the.
No, nobody took that contract. So, and even if they would have, we wrote in there that we would still have control over that concessions because we would need to be able to do that in order to pay for when we were thinking about running the event. So now we just enter a negotiation with that group and see what percentage they wanted for food and we food and beverages. And also we've talked to the young lady who runs it for the Mill Rats, also worked at the arena, come as a subcontractor and work for us and help us run that. So we already have somebody in place if we got to that point. So she'd stay on board with us and work for us as a subcontractor, and we'd have someone to do that. Because that's major too as well. Yeah, you could do booths, you could do food trucks. You're going to have to. I think if you even look at AAA, the lines were better this year, but it's still a major undertaking. For 6,000 people, I don't know. Even with the new booth, there's still major lines. So I think when you have a concert on the field, you would see tents on the field and possibly food trucks outside on the street that we would request to close the street in front of there and do some things there. It could be really neat. So we've heard a lot of neat proposals from people and ideas to do things and concerts and that. It's just getting somebody with the seed money to put that together. Like this act is the budget all in for this one coming in for just the acts alone. So they have $150,000 to spend on who they want to bring. We'll see how that goes. They give us a list of 6 or 7 different artists. I only recognize a couple of them, but that doesn't mean. Yes, I'm definitely getting old. Yeah, I recognize the first 2, but
we don't have to front any.
Hero, and that's the change. We were going to, and that's what I said. We're going to now just we want to be the venue. And after we see what we're getting into, I think we'll be able to do some more. But it's a lot of conversations with different people. It's bringing that to fruition, which is the tough part. But I can't agree with you more. We have to do more at the stadium as much as possible, especially in the fall. Court, uses it a lot, but there are some Saturdays and Sundays where things are open. We have a tournament in September. One of those baseball tournaments are coming in, and they're going to work with us as well. We're going to take the Bulldogs down, and the court's on board with that. So yeah, we're going to keep pushing it. And it was a shame to lose the PSAC tournament. That was a special one. But it's so hard to maintain that mound throughout the year, and now you have that portable mound which we'll take out of the way and we can go back whenever we need to. Also, two things at Roxbury real quick. We're looking at putting benches around the walking trail. People had reached out to us. We're getting prices on concrete benches because there's nowhere to sit over there. When they called, they had to stay able. So we had someone go take a look at that and possibly get some prices on putting 5 benches and getting some sponsorship stuff on them as well too to take care of them. But so people can sit, especially on the opposite side of Franklin Street. It's a straight shot and there's nowhere to sit. So we're working on that. And we have a meeting coming up in the next 2 weeks now that baseball's over with all the baseball people, including Coach Walter from Wake Forest, about the upgrades to D.D. Osborne Field, which you guys had approved. Looking at the press box, talking to the school district about them building it. I'm pretty sure they have a nice amount of money raised from what they've told us, and we're going to work on that. Able to do stuff over there.
Tony, if you would look at one that Brian Zettel put in Delborough.
Okay.
Whitehouse made concrete benches.
Okay.
And I think they ran around $150.
Great.
It's right at the light, and did a nice job putting it in. And Fly-Off worked with them, so it's a local company, and maybe you can get sponsors. I know if you asked my Legion, we would buy one.
Great. That sounds great.
So you could. That's the way I would, because I said that the same thing to those people with Sandyville. There's not a place to sit there either. Just go to these organizations. Every one of these clubs wants to do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Just put their name on it. Donated by.
Sounds great. Yeah, we're going to get rolling on that as well too. Yes.
Really. Moving on, please.
Okay. Yep, that's the updates on everything at the stadium. This Saturday, and going on what Mr. Britt said about what Quan and them are doing is it's all going to culminate this Saturday with the back to school day at Roxbury from 12 to 5. It's going to be really nice. Brian's having a basketball tournament up on the courts. Quan has a bunch of stuff planned, a bunch of activities going on, and we've been meeting about that. It's going to be really nice, and we're working on a drive to get school supplies. There'll be a flyer going out here. It won't conclude. We're going to kick it off that day, and there's a long kids in the area need. We're going to put that flyer out, collect them at different businesses in the area, and present those and get those to the kids in need. It's going to be a really nice event. I've been working with those guys a lot. They met with us at City Hall. They're doing a great job, not only with the vision stuff, but his other role in the cure the violence. I mean, it's been really good. They have good people. They're coming to the school. They're doing a great job. So we've met with them, and they're talking about some more permanent leagues next year. And again, it's the challenge for us is we need the people to run the leagues to go along with, we have the facilities. We just need the manpower, and they show the strong desire to do some things and carry that into next year and run some leagues. And the hockey rink, we're done with the tournament, ready to rock and roll with that. Probation's going to help us stage that stuff, and we have the state move the tops.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you. I spoke with from the Central Labor Council, and not that adult probation wouldn't good with this, but I think more of a skilled.
Yeah, and we're just going to use it's actually juvenile just for some of the heavy lifting and moving, but none of the placement of the towels.
Okay.
Just because there's so many of them, they volunteered to help us with that, and Jared did share that you guys spoke, and we're going to have some of the trade union people come and help us, and we're bringing in the company, the rep, to show us how we're doing it. We're going to pay that fee to be able to install that the right way. We have to lift the boards and make sure that it's right, and we really want to get hockey rolling this fall.
Do you know when this?
I don't have an exact date, Jared. When he gets back, that's something we're going to look at right away.
Well, those towels were ordered, whatever was left. I think the first week of the last week of.
Yeah, Joe just got those. Yeah.
So.
Just ordered that, yeah.
Just ordered it, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe
Yeah, as soon as it is, we want to get that in and get that rolling and get that showcased.
Well, let me, get that, I'm just gonna shoot for the Saturday after Labor Day. September.
Okay.
We should have them by then, but there was no backlog or anything, you know, or have to let them know so they can have it. They were glad to do it, they're very happy.
It'll be beautiful. It's state of the art. It's the same thing the Penguins, same floor of the Penguins. Got put in many different parts in
And you can
Pittsburgh.
play it without the board.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Chief?
Thanks, Tony.
Good evening, just talk to you guys about Maximum Night Out last week. It was not as well attended as it has been, but we did enjoy ourselves. Big shout out to a couple of our kids. I put a sound system that paired nicely with my phone, provided music through that Bluetooth thing, and we got that all figured out. Well, we had Kona Ice out there. We gave 3 Kona Ices away. Hope for Johnstown came down, helped us cook 125 hot dogs and serve a bunch of Coca-Cola and all that stuff. So it was a good time. We had a bouncy house again. A couple of our folks bailed out at the last minute. The Axon guy didn't show up. And then we had triple ABA going on too, so that kind of drew some of the folks. But all in all, we're happy to get out in the community and folks and just had a great time. Beautiful weather. Obviously, shout out for Johnstown. First time in quite a while they were able to win.
Chief, if you want to put it in your memory, we at the Legion have a great big hot dog roller. If you ever need it, it'll cook like 50 hot dogs at a time.
Oh, that certainly helped.
You can have it whenever you need it. It just needs one electricity for it, and there's plenty of it for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Next year we'll be coming to see you. That'll definitely help us. Extra roller. Yeah, we can probably use both. 200 hot dogs, but thanks to Sheets for providing the hot dogs. It was just a lot of folks came together pretty quickly and got some going for us. Kids came out, had a great time meeting them and stuff. So look forward to doing more of that stuff.
Thanks, Chief.
As far as the hiring, we had 0 applicants for the 120 round, so we'll be moving to the non-Act 120 that will open up September 5th, and we plan to test on September 23rd. So the Saturday, hopefully we'll get some folks coming up, but pass the test and particularly since Morning Academy, our 3 recruits are doing fantastic. Our phase 2, so our fingers crossed. Any other questions?
What my favorite subject.
Oh, absolutely. I told you last time we got the quote, 75,000 and some change for 8 cameras. It looks like that's going to happen. I haven't met yet with the Mansky regarding that $23,000 PCCD grant. Or is it Bureau of Justice Assistance?
Federal.
Yeah,
grant.
it's a federal grant, Bureau of Justice Assistance. So we can show that by October our reporting systems will be up to speed for being able to actually submit NIBRS data rather than the old data that we were submitting. That's a requirement for the grant. So that looks like we'll be able to secure that money.
To get with 1889 because it's very eager to help with this.
I think now that we have some concrete figure to wrap our heads around, it would be great. Also, I'm going to reach out to Greg, and he had mentioned some forfeiture money that he might be able to throw our way and stuff from the county. So, maybe in the next couple of weeks
I'll get something going.
Yeah, we'll get a meeting and get that together, get it running for winter.
Okay, that'll be great.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Chief Sadler?
Not a lot really. Still moving forward on the train site. We lucked out and did some cutting on the concrete. As much concrete work as we had to, so they're in the process of trying to get the scheduling of the crane and everything to get going. Probably a September timeframe and stuff. I did forget to talk to the chief. To talk to both captains for the police department. The radio changeover for Cambridge County is going to be in the October timeframe. They're finally to the point where they're doing console work and stuff, so we should be on that new system by the end of October for what weather also. So that should help us out with some of our radio issues. And I know the police department, like me, are trying to drag batteries along without buying for old radios and whatnot. Nothing else really going on there. So.
Is, where the new building is, where the training site is now? Are the neighbors and everybody sort of happy now that that area?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we haven't had any real issues. Like I said, we did get the lot cleaned up with some of the brush. It grows fairly fast, so we did that twice now. So, but getting that done, that'll progress as we're in there more often. And then looking at fencing and stuff too.
And some of the residents and the businesses out there, glad you guys are going down.
Yeah, we did put a camera up because we did have some people dumping. That happens everywhere. So.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Finance? Moneyman?
Just the software is going really well, and we last thing is codes and permits, and they have all of our data now. So next week, probably the staff will be able to start using the test program to try to figure out how to work it, and then we'll have a training session, and we should be running by the second week of September, and everything, all the departments are using it, and it's just working well. So
the codes portion of that, I myself, and I'm sure someone would like to see how that works, because we want to see the process of those departments.
yeah, and we can set up a session for that. You know, once we have to learn how to use it, but then we can sort of show you and show you how it works.
Work the bugs out there.
Yeah, so we'll put that together. And so it's going well. It'll be good for the city.
Thank you. Any other questions? Dream machine?
I like it. Oh.
Price could be out of the job increase.
Can't wait to tell my wife that nickname. That's great.
Like that.
Hey, just to follow on with the update that the city manager provided earlier on. Next public meeting is on August 30th at 4 p.m. down at Central Park. It'll be a similar format that we had last time. And they're going to highlight really what the survey results were provided. They had received hundreds and hundreds of survey results. They've also taken into consideration input we received from some groups we developed. We've had our third veteran focus group meeting here just prior to this meeting at the arena, which was once again well attended. So we're getting good feedback from that group. We started meeting with the business focus group. We actually have a second meeting with them tomorrow and talking to the business community as well. And then they've been meeting consistently with youth groups as well through the group. So we were receiving, really, it's the most input that I've ever been part of in my entire career as part of a project. So it's been great to see, and everybody has an opinion on every aspect of the project, which is good as well. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to attend a event down sponsored by the Pittsburgh Tech Council down in Pittsburgh, in which the guest speaker was Rick Seiger, the new TCED director. And through the Q&A process, someone had asked a question about progression in the city, and he gave us a shout out in the audience of about 130 people about the great work being done in the city of Johnstown. And about a great work provided us in regards to from the secretary on our efforts and what we're doing here. A great administration for us to work with, particularly this year in the staff. So, but it was nice to hear that in front of a crowd of people as well. So good stuff. And finally, we have released an RFP over a month ago for demolition of 12 structures. We'll be opening bids on that. We plan on releasing another RFP here as we enter. So, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Property share?
I like that one too. Good evening. There were 31 building permits issued within the month of July. There was 110 service requests issued within the month of July. Just want to reiterate, we did take 2 properties to the magistrate. They were successful. They rolled in our favor. This is 2. I have 6 to 12 more coming up within the next month, so I'll keep you all when that is. And then the 7 properties we had secured as well within the house. And we're adding to that list. Properties there.
I won't bore you with the first part. There is a lot of noise complaints. Once again, my name is Dorothy Clark, and the residents, my neighbors on Osborne Street, for their music absolutely too loud for a residential neighborhood. With doors and windows closed, the music trembles every recess of my house as well as that of my neighbors. Horns and trumpets nonstop for up to 8 hours. I have spoken 3 times to 2 individuals to no avail. There's a set of railroad tracks, a street, a sidewalk from the flight of stairs to my porch, and it still is heard clearly. I literally have to barricade myself inside my house for any peace and quiet. May I add, I do not care what my neighbors do in the privacy of their own home or be an unwilling participant. The ordinance states, it's 605.0 louder unnecessary, that the use or operation of or permitting the use or operation of any radio receiving said musical instrument, phonograph, or any other machine or device for producing or reproducing sound in such a manner as to disturb the peace, quiet, and comfort of the neighboring inhabitants, or at any time with a loud volume necessary for convenient hearing for the person who is in a room, vehicle, or chamber in which such machine or device is operated and who is a voluntary listener thereto. I do not wish to partake of what they are polluting the atmosphere. I am not a voluntary participant. They need to keep the music quarantined inside their yard. My job is very demanding and stressful, as anyone who deals with the public understands, as you do firsthand, that when I come home for a break or I have a day off, I wish to enjoy it as I choose, peacefully and relaxing, sitting on my front porch, and that right has been taken away from me as well as my neighbors. I am asking for your help with this public nuisance. I'm not trying to be a problem, but I am seeking a solution to this one. It is a residential neighborhood, and the unnecessary noise needs to be put to a halt. Everyone in the neighborhood is really tired of hearing it. I do not know what the next step is in rectifying this situation, but I do thank you for your time and your concern in this matter.
Thank you very much. Chief, can you please look at that?
Yeah.
And
Did you call the non-emergency number?
I had asked them 3 times to turn it down. I have not contacted the non-emergency number. There is a man who does in my the rear of my property on, I think it's McQuillan. It's an alley, and we have contacted the non-emergency number, and they said because they can't hear that from the street, that is, they can't do anything. But the resident on Osborne Street, and I do have an audio of it from my porch that you can clearly hear it.
So would that be a code?
What was the address again, ma'am?
80 Osborne Street.
It's a violation of state law, but this is what we're talking about.
Okay.
We have a card out there and check it. And, that would help.
That would very much help. Yeah, it's just.
When you hear it, call the non-emergency.
If I could have the non-emergency number, I do not have it.
It's 47. There you go.
thought is, but they don't think it's loud. And they keep going. But, you know, when you're in a house, believe me, I know, it vibrates inside my house.
I hope we can work this problem out for you.
I would
We'll
appreciate
do our
it
best.
very much.
We're on your side.
Thank you so much.
Have a
I
good evening.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Communication will go recess, what we have to say for executive session. Apologies. Right, Mike.
In the meeting, we enter into a verbal contract. And it is understood because the steps I'm going to take moving forward. When I entered that verbal contract, I kept my part of the contract, which is purchase from Heiser Units. Right? When I did so, I have been fixing them to no avail and still fixing them today. I've spent thousands of dollars on a property that was proposed to me to get assistance to fix. That did not happen. It still hasn't happened, and the current excuses is, we don't have any money. Or this person did, you had a meeting and nobody didn't agree. That's not how that works. Because when I go to court, the court is going to say, you entered that of your own full volition. When I went to the auction, I was told in the auction, the person left where it was and they came to me and they said, you buy your properties, right? My example was, yes, that's what we discussed. I have these units, I'm spending my own money out of my own pocket, and I'm spending money, personal money and business money. Not one business, but more than one business. Now, for me to be coming, I was born and raised in a country where I know nothing but taxes. Real talk. Come here, I try my best to be a full abiding citizen, follow the laws, follow the rules. And then to come and get screwed over by people that feel because the color of your skin have a big issue to do with what it is. I am of mixed descent. I have different ethnicities mixed up in this. And I don't understand why this, and I keep coming and asking questions, and I'm not begging nobody to do anything for me. If you promise me something, you're supposed to do what you say you're going to do. A man is only as good as his word, and nobody does keep the word. I have kept mine. No, 4th of July, shooting across the road from the properties that I am fixing. There's a shooting across there. The fellas are coming from Philadelphia, living on the block over and across the street. And there is a drug block running opposite my house. I'm working hard to fix. I'm living in property. I don't want to create. Properties to get people. There's a deficit here with these people who is the veterans. There is a need for housing. I was promised a meeting with the people for housing. That did not happen. The day it was supposed to happen, the person who wanted to meet with the individual. Guess what? His receptionist said it didn't have no such meeting later. Why am I being lied to? Why am I being taken advantage of? At the end of the day, when I keep my hand in my bag, as well as we come here to, because I come to all of you guys know, you're going to $6,000. And not for nothing, it is rude. It has to look at it as rude. Over here.
I'm sorry, ma'am, your time is up.
Okay.
Else?
I have a question I'd like to ask. Who did you meet with? Please tell me.
John Vansky.
Thank you.
And I also met with Peter Imhoff. I also met with Alex.
What was that statement about the?
He said he didn't say it to me. I accidentally ended up in his office. And when I ended up in his accidentally, my husband and I ended up in his office. We didn't even know where his office was. So we went to the building because this young lady here showed us exactly where his office was, the building was, and we didn't know which office was. We went in. We happened to walk the door, the buzzer was pressed, and we walked in. We didn't know who we was looking for because I didn't even know who the mayor was. Walked down the alley and then ended up going down to the back and bumped into this old white man. Who sent you here? Bring you here. Go and sit down over here. Like if I'm a
I'm
kid.
sorry, you are threatening litigation.
I'm sorry, what?
You are telling us you're going to litigation. We can't.
If I have to, I'm going to.
I understand.
That's what it is I said. If I need to, I'm going to do it.
I understand that. We can discuss that.
But he just asked me a question.
I want to hear what you.
Yeah. Because she's telling us that about a problem. I don't know anything about anything that we promised her. So that's what, if somebody's saying, we promised her, I want to know who.
I never said you guys promised. I came here, this is my third time here bringing this situation in front of everybody here.
Yeah.
And the second time I was here, I was told I would have a meeting with him and he would have addressed it. Nothing has been addressed. And back to your question, sir, we bumped into him. When we bumped into him, he said, go and sit down over there. Who is you? He went back, his office is small, his office is, the building is old, they can hear everything. He was on the phone asking, who sent these two black people over here? Then an email went out, and I was reached out to by the short guy who used to be in, a short cute guy. He have a nice personality and very easygoing. He used to work in the back office next to the in home office. I have an email from him, I know exactly who I'm speaking of. He used to be there. And then it went out, and he called me and asked me what has happened, and if he could assist. And I was like, how could you assist when I was just I was racially, somebody made racist comments at me? Like, why would you do that?
Well, the mayor's office is.
No, when you go across to the ACRP building upstairs in the corner and back there, that's where that happened. It is the mayor. And that is what took place, and that is where just everything ended up. Anything else?
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Being it, we recess and go to executive session for legal matters. Specifically potential litigation.